Hello and welcome to Pat Baer's Anime Club, an ongoing video series where every other Monday I take a look at something from the world of anime that I want to chat with you about. It could be a deep dive, it could be a preview of an upcoming season, a look back at previous, an exploration of a subgenre. In this episode, we're talking about live action anime adaptations that are good. I've been meaning to do this video for a while, and every time I started diving into the research and watching some videos and refreshing myself on some TV series, I just kept finding more stuff that I wanted to dive into, or things that I was like, oh yeah, that is based on an anime. I should probably check that out. Or there are going to be some caveats here. The first one being, I'm going to be talking about stuff that I can tell you about and you can go and watch. You can rent it or watch it on a streamer. But there's plenty of stuff out there that is not readily available, so you can't go and find it. Like maybe you go on eBay, find a region-free DVD, or you can surf the web in a particular venue and find a copy of it. Maybe because it was only fan subbed. I don't want to go down that road. Just want to talk about stuff that I can tell you in my discussion of the thing how to go and watch it right now. And I'm going to focus on the US. My apologies if you were from outside the United States and these do not apply to you. Or if I didn't talk about something and you're like, but Nana, rules, I have the DVD right here. It does. There's no easy way for people to watch that movie. It's a great adaptation of the story. It's like a great example of why people should dive into it. So we won't see like the live action of Laid Back Camp, which I hear is great. I'm not going to tell you about that because it's not easily available for people. So let's actually dive into the ones I want to talk about. And in the end, I'll talk about an honorable mention, and I might even explain why a couple things aren't on the list of topics. And I want to hear in the comments below before we dive in. You can write right now. You can wait until after. What springs to mind when you think of good live-action anime adaptations? You can let me know. So let's talk about Ace Attorney. And this is the other caveat that I want to start with right off the bat. Because yes, Ace Attorney has an anime. And yes, this movie is based on the video games, not the anime. But it counts because I decided it counts. You can find this for rent or purchase on YouTube, easily available in a variety of countries. And this is a great like second experience. I think the anime is fun, and I think some of the video games are excellent and some of them are a bit of a slog. And maybe you've watched a streamer play this game or these games, or you've played them, or maybe you've played them with a loved one. People do that, or you had a hangout crew and you play through these and kind of like group think you're like, oh, who we're going to accuse and what evidence are we going to present and all that other stuff. Or maybe you just have someone in your life and you really want to watch anime stuff and they're not into it, and they might really like this quirky courtroom drama movie. Like it's a fun adaptation. It's light. It's not a replacement. I don't think really I'm going to talk about any replacements here. I think there's one that probably is a replacement. This isn't that. I think you could get in on it and enjoy it. I think the Ace Attorney movie is solid. Also, Battle Royale is solid and brutal. I don't know what I really need to say about Battle Royale, the movie, other than it's available to watch free with ads on some services or for rental on various services. Just Google it. You'll find it. I don't have links, but I trust you can find a legit reason or way to watch that. Not a legit reason, a legit way to watch this movie. A bunch of, students dropped an island to murder each other for sport. It is what spawned the genre of anime and manga and movies and video games. It's the battle royale genre, is because they call it that because of this movie. And you're saying, Pat, this is based on a novel that's like, when it came out, people were like, what the fuck? And you're right. But there is a manga and there is an anime, so it counts. It counts for me. This list was hard to make. That's the other reason why it took me so long to do. This was a hard one because of the limitations I provided for myself. it's battle royale. It's good. It's really good. Um, I mean, it's hard. It's a hard watch. I would recommend this. Don't watch battle royale right after you've watched a South Korean comedy, an action comedy called Attack the Gas Station. Don't watch Attack the Gas Station at an anime convention and then immediately after that watch battle royale, because it's not a good pairing. That's a very specific thing to me and like 150 other people. But yeah, just know what you're getting into with battle royale, okay? And don't get mad at me for liking the Speed Racer movie. I think that people are ready to like this movie. They didn't at the time. Of course, based on the anime Speed Racer, which some people forget is an anime because it came out at a time where people weren't thinking about those shows as what capital A anime. We've already talked about all that stuff. I can't get into it again. But like, some people don't like it because they don't think it's a faithful adaptation of the source material. And some people don't like it because it's just style over substance, or any number of reasons why they don't like it. But the cast is phenomenal. It's fantastic. It's Christina Ricci. It's just John Goodman in a role he was born to play. Like, I don't know how else to say it. Like, he's incredible in it. It's visually stunning. It's CG holds up. I watched this movie like 2 years ago. Should also say, it is rent a bunch of places online or watch with ads. You're going to be able to find this movie no problem. But it's just fantastic. And like, the thing is, I've only watched some sub of Speed Racer, but the dub isn't good. It's not a good dub, and also the animation is not great, and it's a fine enough story, and I think it moves fairly well. And what I've watched of the subtitles, I was like, oh, okay, this is just not great. The Mach 1 or Mach 5, the car is great. And that's like the thing. The car and the monkey are the things that I think people really remember. And also that the rival slash villain slash relation. I guess I shouldn't spoil Speed Racer. There's a thing. People remember Racer X, I guess. But you should watch this movie because it's a great adaptation and really fun. It's a good time. I don't know. People hate on it, and I don't like that. Because I think this maybe moves past its origins. And then let's talk about One Piece. Netflix was going to be on this list, right? Netflix has done quite a few anime adaptations or live action versions of the anime adaptations, and there are some you're not going to see on this list. You're not going to see the Rurouni Kenshin movie because I don't separate arts from the artist all the time. Maybe I do on occasion, but I don't in that one. So I'm not going to watch that movie. I hear it's the best of these. Nah, I'm good. You're not going to see Cowboy Bebop because it's bad. Cowboy Bebop, the live action Cowboy Bebop, is bad for fans of Cowboy Bebop and people that just want to watch an action series. It's bad in so many ways. It's completely misguided. It's terrible. Like, we're talking about terrible things like Ghost in the Shell, not on here. I think that movie is garbage. I watched that movie and I was like, no thanks. Attack on Titan live action, I don't think it's particularly that great. I just think that I think it looks neat, but I don't think it does anything, and I don't care about any of the characters, and I kind of cared about some of those characters when I was regularly watching the anime, so I don't think that makes the list. There's one honorable mention, we'll get to that soon. I should have done all this after I sung the praises, but this is just to get to the point where I could talk about how much I really liked the One Piece adaptation, and how I was, after being bummed out by the Cowboy Bebop one, this one, and also some of the sets, I looked at some of the sets and I was like, ooh, these don't look good, but maybe with the right filters, maybe shot the right way, this will look good, and it won't look like some of the photos made it seem like this was shot at a theme park, and this was like a theme park ride that they just happened to film and make a TV series on. And put together, I don't feel that way. Yeah, I think some of the CG doesn't look particularly great. There's some corners cut. I think the cast is fantastic. I think the acting is done really well. I think it's a good, solid adaptation of the material. And I think the highest compliment you can give it is, I know people who I have in the past attempted to get to into One Piece from like, this is the place you start, or this is the place you start with the manga, or you can do this. Here's the list if you just want to skip a bunch of filler on the anime because it's like so much anime, or hey, this person makes YouTube videos that kind of condenses arcs into a 10-minute video, and it's a great way to like watch that video and then you just watch a couple episodes. Like, I've done that work. I've never been successful. I've never gotten someone into One Piece. This has. People have watched this and gone, okay, yeah, all right, well, okay, so which sub, where should I watch it, and is the which dub? When does the dub get good, and all this stuff, and you're just like, yeah, all right, or like, is there a movie I have to? What are the animated movies I have to watch? And it's like, no. I mean, the last couple have been good, but no. Like, it's just, it feels like the people that made it were like, we're working on a One Piece live action. This is incredible. We get to make this. Like, that's the sense you get from it. And maybe that's me putting something on there because I've been burned before. But like, when I look at it, I'm like, this feels like people were psyched to be making this. It doesn't feel like the Cowboy Bebop adaptation where people were like, oh yeah, well, we're doing a couple shot from shots, but people like the music and that's it. It's like, no. People thought it was fucking cool as hell and a seminal work of modern, at the time, and now old anime. Now Cowboy Bebop is old, but like, it's a classic and you don't love it, and you don't have to love it, but it would be great if you respected it. And that's this adaptation. This adaptation feels like there's love, and that's awesome to see as someone that really likes One Piece. And now I'm going to talk about an honorable mention. Of course, I'm talking about the live-action Dragon Ball Z. Just fucking kidding. No, I'm not. I'm not talking about the live-action Dragon Ball Z movie. Oofta. No, I'm talking about Yu Yu Hakusho. And there might be someone who had already been in the comments there that were like, hey, you didn't talk about Yu Yu Hakusho. Pat, it's got good vibes. It's got good energy. The actors, it's like really well cast, and like the lighting is really well done, and the vibe is just, as I said, the vibe is just right. Why didn't you include it? And my main thing is that, like, I think it's good, and if you've watched a bunch of other stuff and you want to get into it, that's great. You got a big love of Yu Yu Hakusho. I think that's fantastic. I would say you can't watch this unless you love Yu Yu Hakusho, because it needed more episodes, or it needed to adapt less material than it did, because it just adapted so much so quickly. The pacing is just off. It's too fast. There aren't enough goofy moments. Like, yeah, there's some goof, there's some silliness, but there's not enough. The thing about the Ghost Detective series, the thing about Yu Yu Hakusho, because I know some people call it by Ghost Detective, so I want to say that, because in many places that's what it was called, and they don't know it as YYH or Yu Yu. For a lot of people, it's the balance of like this character who is like, Yosuke is funny sometimes, just straight up goofy. Kuwabara is such a goof. Like, Hiei is the, like, what did I get myself into with these goobers kind of a thing. And then, like, Kurama is hot. And then also Kurama can be goofy now and again. It's very rare. But, like, I understand you don't want a baby in your show. You don't want to cast a baby or CGI a baby. But, like, the son of the devil or the underworld boss is a baby. And that's great. It's just like there's stuff in it that I'm like, I don't know. I don't. there aren't enough light moments because there's not time for light moments, right? And there's not enough character development for a bunch of these characters because there's not time for it. So I wish they had done it differently, and that's why it's not an official recommendation. I think it is cool to watch these characters move around in as human beings, flesh and blood. When I am such a longtime fan of the series, but like, nah, it's not perfect, unfortunately. I wish it was because the vibes are good. And that's it. There were some that I didn't talk about deeply that maybe you really loved. And I'd love to hear it from you in the comments about some live action anime adaptations that you think are good. Like, I don't think that Battle Angel was like, it might be a good adaptation. I don't really know the source material. I've never dived deep into it. I watched the movie on a plane, which is not a great place for that. A person I know and I have done comedy work with before is the lead in that movie, and it just didn't hit me. I think the Bleach adaptation suffers even more from Yu Yu Hakusho, where they because they were so rushed to get through stuff, they invented new things, and it felt unnecessary. There are adaptations I haven't seen, and I would love to hear from you about them. And again, there are some that I couldn't recommend because it's not readily and easily available, and maybe I have gone out of my way to seek those out. But I wanted to restrict myself to stuff that you can go and watch after this, that you don't have to go and worry about if you're getting a good version of it or whatever. Also, the Initial D movies, I don't think any of the Initial D movies are good, and I'm mad that they do a thing where they put out the movie with a Japanese hip hop soundtrack, and then they put out a different version with the Eurobeat music, and they do a bait and switch every fucking time, and that sucks. So I will never recommend the Initial D movies. I do think they're kind of fun, and you can find those, but just on principle, I can't recommend that. I talked more about live action anime adaptations that are bad than I did good. I was trying to keep this positive, but I did let my negativity seep through, so my apologies for that. This was not just a pure love fest, but Ace Attorney, Battle Royale, Speed Racer, One Piece, and honorable mention Yu Yu Hakusho. I don't think you can go wrong with those. I think they're great. And I want to hear from you, as I said. I've said this a dozen times, but I do want to hear from you. Also, what should I be doing in the future for Pet Bear's Anime Club? I have a couple ideas. The next video is going to be the winter review and the spring preview. It'll be recorded live. I'm going to check something real quick on that. It'll be recorded live Tuesday, March 26th, 9 p.m. Eastern on my Twitch channel. And then it will be out for everybody on Monday, April 1st. There won't be a Fool's Day joke. It'll just be the video. And I love doing those quarterly, so we'll have that up. And the one after that, I know what I'm going to be returning. I'm going to be doing another in a series that I have done several episodes about. We're going to talk about some manga. I won't say more than that. But this was recommended by someone for me to do, and I appreciate that. If you have ideas for videos that you'd like to see me cover here in the future, like a deep dive in a particular genre of anime, or if you're like, there's a concept I don't quite get, let me know. And if I've covered it before, I'll tell you which video I covered it in. Previously I did my update on what Gundam series I would recommend. If there's an old Pat Bear's Anime Club that you think there should be a 2024 version of, let me know. I'd like to hear that as well. I should probably dig in myself for that. But thank you for watching this video, and I hope to see you in the future. And I hope you watch some cool anime adaptations that are of a live action variety. See you next time.